The best teammates you could run your new free Dan Heng on, guys. That's what we're talking about in today's video, guys. Going over a full teammate tier list, talking about what his best synergies are to what his kind of meh synergies are. So you don't run him in the wrong situations with the wrong teammates. Not to say that he can't work for most teams, because he ultimately is a preservation unit. He can work on every single team, but we're talking about the teams he synergizes the best with and helps them out the most. So without further ado, guys, let's hop into it here. Going into what I have is the C tier first, which is what I consider to be the baseline, and the teammate or teammates he helps out the least amount with. And in this tier, guys, I'm going to throw Archer down here. The reason I have Archer down here is because I do believe if you did vertically invest a little bit into your Dan Heng, he can be pretty SP positive, meaning you can use him with Archer that much better, because Archer really does want SP positive teammates to really be functional with. On top of this as well, guys, he'll be providing Archer an attack bonus, and with that too, he'll be doing follow-up attacks, which then also means that Archer's able to take use of that with his ultimate move per se, right? So whenever Archer's using his ultimate move, then he can do follow-up attacks on the enemy and then also get some skill points back to use more of his skill moves. He can take use of this really nicely because he has multiple different attacks per turn, which then in turn will action advance the dragon back to the front, which then in turn make the dragon attack more often. And if the dragon's attacking more often, that means more follow-up attacks, which means more overall skill points. That's why I have him as a baseline, though, because you really do want some vertical investment to make this really, really viable. Not to say that it's necessary, but I do think this is the baseline of success for Dan Heng. Popping into our B tier next, guys. First on our B list here is going to be Saber. The reason why I have Saber here, guys, because she technically has a lot of different attacks and moves you can use, meaning like whenever you get her energy maxed out, she gets an additional attack that will lead to the dragon being able to do more follow-up attacks. On top of that as well, you're gonna be giving her a pretty decent attack buff too, which she actually does like quite a bit. But not only these two things, guys, he will actually have access to his ultimate quite a bit more with her on the team, meaning she can take use of that ultimate quite a bit more because she gets more of her stacks and more of her energy back to refill her ultimate gauge and then to launch off major attacks on the enemy. But I do think him running on a Saber team can actually be a pretty decent option. Hopping into number 2 here, guys, is going to be Bronya. The reason why I have Bronya so low here is because of the fact that I think some of the other action advancers do work a bit better than her. The only caveat that I really see with Bronya here is really the SP negativity. If you do not have him S1, then you might run into SP issues if you're having to skill every single turn with him. It really depends on the team you're running him in, though. But ultimately, that's why I have Bronya so low on this list. Also, she does give an overall attack buff to the whole team, meaning in my mind, you can kind of run into some conflicting attack-based issues where you're giving an ally too much attack or overcapping on attack depending on the team you're running him on. So for that reason, I have her in B tier. Next up here, guys, is going to be Cypher. I think Cypher overall works pretty well with him. I mean, you're not going to be really using it too much. Like, his follow-up attacks will ultimately help the damage she's able to put out, but you're not going to be really putting the buff from Dan Heng onto your Cypher. Cypher offers more vulnerability on the enemy, so that means you're getting more damage out of him. So overall, I feel like she's a pretty decent debuffer, and they work hand in hand with each other. They can work together. I just don't feel like it's the best matchup in the world. And then my final pick for the B tier here, guys, and that's going to be Miss Silverwolf here, guys. Yeah, Silverwolf kind of plays the same role that Cypher does. She does defense shred on every single enemy, which they can then ultimately help him out. He's giving an attack buff. Both these characters are giving out something like defense shred or vulnerability on the enemy, which then helps out the damage formula that much better. So for that reason, I have her here. She's also an SP generator as well as Cypher too, so it can help out balance out a more free-to-play Dan Heng, especially if you don't get him to S1. So that's the reason why they're here, and that's all that I have to mention on the B tier now, guys. Hopping into the A tier next, and number 1 on my A tier, guys, it might be kind of controversial here, Acheron. Yes, I do think Acheron can work quite nicely with Dan Heng. Now, the reason why Acheron is above someone like Saber is because I do think with the Trends of Universal Market Light Cone, you can put that on him, and it works a lot better with someone like Acheron. Not only this, guys, it also is going to be giving an attack buff to Acheron as well, which she can take quite a bit of use of. So I do like that too. So with the fact that he's able to provide so much extra charge for her, him being a newer preservation unit that's able to keep up a little bit better, I still do think that overall, Aventurine is a better support for Acheron, or a better sustain for Acheron. I still don't think that he is the worst scenario in the world, especially if you start investing more in him. I guess you need him E6 to be putting debuffs on the enemy to make him a lot more viable, but for right now, guys, I do think it's an A rank option. I do think it works really well with Acheron. Next up here, guys, I do think DOT, like any DOT character you have, I think will work here well, and the reason I think that is because he gives an attack buff. If he gives an attack buff, that means that their dot is going to be increasing damage. He also does follow-up attacks as well, so whenever he's doing the follow-up attacks or the dragon's doing the follow-up attacks, you actually have someone like Kafka being able to activate her a follow-up attack more often and more frequently in better scenarios, I guess you could say, with him being able to do that, right? So maybe you're in a situation where you need to get a kill. The dragon actually has a chance chance to, you know, activate the follow-up as well. So that leads to more energy for her, and also killing enemies that much quicker as well, and giving that attack buff is nice. So overall, I do like that. Next up on the list here, guys, is going to be Miss Ruan Mei. Now, Ruan Mei is going to be providing a damage bonus for the full team. He can take use of that. Speed bonus, like, it can work on him, I guess. If you want to put a speed bonus on him, like, that's okay. It's also going to be giving him a weakness break efficiency as well, so you're able to break the shield that much faster with him having a follow-up unit in his kit, or having a follow-up in his kit. That means he's able to attack more frequently and more often. He's also able to hit every single enemy on the field, meaning you're able to weakness break more enemies at a time at a larger rate with someone like Ruan Mei on the team, on top of the, you know, the universality to Ruan Mei, which she has already. She also is going to be having res pin and defense down if you have her at E1, which then provides kind of like an avalanche effect to get more to that damage formula to help out the rest of your DPS. And for my final character in A tier, guys, that is actually going to be Miss Spark, a big ol' L. Now, I do like Sparkle. What I don't like necessarily about Sparkle is the 50% action advance. I think that actually kind of cucks you, but the fact that she has SP generation, I think when using her with someone like Archer, that comes in a lot of clutch. And if you don't have him up to S1, which provides an extra skill point back when using ult, this can be a great alternative to help generate SP for the rest of the team. And one thing I like about her as well, yes, I think that someone like Bronya provides a much bigger attack bonus to the team. She does still provide an attack bonus to the team, and that's if you have Quantum Weak allies, she provides an even bigger attack bonus. But the real big thing with her, guys, is generally the damage bonus she's able to provide is actually pretty nice, and the crit damage bonus. So it plays really nicely to the damage formula and gives you, like I said before, the SP positivity that you would be looking for to really help out the rest of the team if you don't have them S1. Now, guys, we need to talk about what the S rank characters are. Before we hop into that, hit that subscribe button right now, gamers, if you enjoy what you're seeing so far, and if you enjoy what his best in slot teammates are. Maybe you don't agree with me, leave it in the comment section down below, but please leave a like and a comment on the video. That will push this video to no end. So thank you, guys, and let's get back to the video. And one more thing I should know before we hop into the S tier here, guys. These are the characters that work second best with her, I would say, or I guess work the best with her, but be it best in slot is for those characters that I think are the absolute top of the top, like the best, and S rank is kind of like, it still works really, really good. Like, it is still the best, but like the best work better than these best, right? You guys know what the fuck I'm saying. I don't know why I'm sugarcoating it. Okay, guys, S rank, first one, Anaxa. Anaxa works really well for a couple reasons. First of all, he has multiple different attacks you can use with him. With having those multiple different attacks you can use with him, this also means that he's able to action advance to summon back to the front. He's also able to give more energy back to Danny as well, which then leads to more frequent ult with Danny if you had something like his Sig S1. This leads to a lot more free SP for the team, and if you're running him in his best in slot team, this actually leads to a lot more SP uptime with the best in slot support for Anaxa and or Finon, which we'll talk about in a second here, which is Saridra. We'll go ahead and throw it in the list here, guys. She runs into a lot of SP issues, in my opinion, probably worse than Bronya, honestly. So for that reason, I'm throwing her in the S tier, not the best in slot tier, for this reason, because I think you really do want him at S1 before he starts working super well with Saridra, and you're able to supercharge the amount of SP that Danny's able to get back. Now, with that being said, guys, Anaxa is still a dream. He loves the attack bonus. He gives himself so much crit damage already. He's getting a lot of skill damage increases from Saridra, or just damage increases all around the board, or debuffs all around the board, with depending on what team you have him on. So ultimately, I do think the attack buff works pretty well with him. Now, with that being said, on the second note with that, let's talk about main DPS Anaxa. Let's go ahead and talk about sub DPS Anaxa and just the Herta team, right? I think this could also work good because Danny is able to hit every single enemy on the field, which leads to more stacks for the Herta. That also leads to more energy for the Herta. This can also lead to just more overall damage for that particular teams. And honestly, with the amount of times you're ulting and using attacks with these characters, can lead to more dragon, which leads to more stacks. I do think this is probably the best in slot support for the Herta team. They love the attack buff. They really do like the attack buff. So while I don't think he's necessarily the best in the world at doing like dual DPS teams, I do think it actually works quite nicely with a the Herta. Next up here, guys, I think you knew this is coming, Fei Xiao. Yes, he can actually give a follow-up to your Fei Xiao, which means your whole team will be follow-up based then. And when I mean follow-up, I mean like whenever she's the bond mate, the summon then becomes her summon. So that means whenever it's following up, it'll then make your follow-up team follow up more. If you had Topaz on the team, for example, right? So Topaz will be following up more, which then gives more stacks to Fei Xiao. The more times you can ult and the more times you can do an attacks, which she is really good at, guys, will be giving the bond mate more times to attack as well, which will be giving the summon more times to attack, which then leads to more ult uptime of her. I do actually think this could be better than Aventurine in certain scenarios. in terms of the scenarios we're talking about, like, you would really, for Aventurine, want multiple different enemies attacking you, so you're able to charge his shield quite a bit, and you want AoE attacks. If you don't have that, Dan Heng is 100% the answer for you, and I think he'll be great for facial-based teams. So with that being said, I think you should know where we're going next, guys. Topaz Newbie also up here as well, because it works so well with a follow-up-esque team. But now hopping into some more options here, I think that HMC is also a really good pick here as well, because you can just pair it up with like your really single target oriented DPS, give them true damage along with the attack bonus, and I think it just works out pretty well. Pretty FP positive as well, so ends up working pretty good with a more free-to-play Dan Heng, so that's really good there too. And then next, Tribby SP Fiends. Like, she doesn't run into too many SP issues. She does full AoE attack. She's also doing vulnerability and res on the enemy, which pairs up really nicely in the damage formula with the attack buff he's able to provide. They all kind of do AoE attack, so overall, I do like these characters. These characters are some of the best in-slot characters. But as you can see, we have 3 characters left, guys, and this is where we talk about the best in-slot characters, that being Sunday, Robin, and Fanussi. Now, the reason why Saridger's not up here is because I believe she runs into SP issues, where I don't believe these characters run into SP issues at. I really was contemplating putting Robin down here and Saridger up here, but for right now, I'm putting it like this because he does run into some SP issues, especially if you're using his skill quite often to provide more shield for the rest of your team, and you're not being able to get his dragon back up in the actual order that quickly. Now, that being said, why does this team work so well? First of all, you have Sunday, action advancing Sunday. Amazing, getting free SP back for that. You have Dan Heng using his skill, using SP, that's fine. You have Robin being able to action advance back to the front, also doing additional attacks. These additional attacks will also be working whenever Finon departs. That is the biggest part, guys. First of all, Finon will be taking the buffs of Sunday, Robin, and Dan Heng into the departed state, so he's taking use of all the buffs. You have someone like Robin here doing additional damage to the enemy, but not only that, guys, whenever he is the bondmate, you'll then have Dragon Danny summon on him as the bondmate. He'll be doing the follow attack, so the more times you attack with Finon in the departed state, that dragon can still also attack, provide shield, which provides more sustainability within that phase. So if you were running into issues with the new anomaly arbitration of dying in that state, this might be the answer for you there. On top of this as well, guys, you're still getting that buff and getting extra damage on the enemy. So overall, I feel like this is the best in-slot team for Dragon Danny as of right now. If you don't have him S1, if you have S1, I think Saridger replaces Robin here. But as of right now, I think this is the best in-slot team for Dragon Danny, and these are his best in-slot teammates. But let me know if I got something wrong in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I don't know why I'm hand motioning like that. It's kind of fucking weird. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.